Welcome to another episode of Message for Mom, where we're busting the myth that mothers-in-law aren't necessarily
monsters-in-law.
I was just checking to see if you were paying attention. And I'm joined by my lovely co-host who happen to be my daughters-in-law and actually helped me out with that little or big gaffe. But to the left of me is Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm married to Beth's oldest son, Alex.
And to the right of me is Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea, and I'm married to Beth's middle son, Andrew.
So maybe I really am a monster-in-law, and that's why I had that that lapse there. But anyway, we are going to talk about something that I absolutely love, which is Hollywood and Hollywood legends. And today we're going to zero in on Nicole Kidman because she's, my gosh, what a prolific actress she is. And so anyway, but before we get into that, we always like to raise a toast. Haven't forgotten that. So we're going to raise our glasses at a toast because we know you don't have to be a blood relative to love your relative. So cheers, ladies. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, I love discussing Hollywood, and it just reminds me of my mom. I mean, we always just had that bond. She loved movies. I love movies. Actually, my whole family loved movies. It was always a wonderful family outing to go off to the movies. So anytime I get the chance to talk about Hollywood movies or screen legends, I am here for it. And so I was thinking a little bit though, what characteristics do Hollywood legends have in common? Because we really just can't bandy that about just to anyone, just to any old actor or actress. So this is a short list that I came up with, and I think they definitely have to have a combination of talent, star power, critical acclaim, and longevity. Although, I mean, maybe like I'm sure there are some, if we in further podcasts, maybe James Dean, could be considered a Hollywood legend. He had a very short career.
That's true.
Because his life was cut short. But I think overall, I think would you agree with those?
Yeah,
for sure.
Characteristics? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and as I said, today we are discussing Nicole Kidman, whose career actually, when I did start to do a little bit of a deep dive, her career spans over 4 decades.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She's 57 years old as we air this podcast in 2024, and she has an Academy Award. She has a Golden Globe and an Emmy.
Wow.
So boy, yeah. So this is somebody that has the chops.
Do a Broadway show to get her.
I know, right?
EGOT. Yeah.
What do they call that?
EGOT.
An EGOT. That's right. An EGOT. Thank you.
And a grant. I guess she'd have to get a grant.
Yeah. But anyway, so she burst on the scene, and I remember this movie vividly because it was a movie that kept you at the edge of your seat, and it was the 1989 Australian psychological thriller called Dead Calm, starring Sam Neill. He was her co-host, and then I want to say Billy Zane.
Billy Zane was the.
Thank you. He was the bad guy. Boy, was he wickedly bad. He really and he did a really good job with that. So anyway.
Creepy.
And we do have a couple of foundational pieces. And whenever we talk about our foundational pieces, these are just articles or podcasts that we've gone to listen to and read just to get some background information. And we always have those linked down below. So let's get into it, ladies, because I'm very excited. And she has been in the news recently, and very sadly, because her mother recently passed away. And if Nicole is 57, I'm guessing her mom is late 70s, early. God bless you.
Thank you.
Early 80s.
Yeah, I know she's
guessing.
It must be devastating. I mean, it's devastating for anyone to lose their mom, but I think in one of the foundational pieces that we have is actually a podcast called Something to Talk About. And in that podcast, she talks a lot about how her mom was like so close and was like the foundation of, her life. And so I know that she had a very close relationship with her and placed a lot of importance on her mom's role in her life. So I imagine it's a very difficult time for her right now.
It is. Yes. She had to leave the Venice Film Festival early because of her mother passing away. And then also I had read too that she and her husband and her 2 daughters spent most of their time in Australia the past couple of years because of her mom's health issues. And they really prioritized spending as much time as they could with her. So our heart goes out to Nicole because yes, it's not easy losing your mom, and especially one that's played a key and pivotal role in your life.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that I was really struck by with Nicole, and that really came out in the podcast, that is our foundational piece, something to talk about, and that was released in July of 2023.
Mhm.
But it was just really how grounded and how down to earth she
Really,
is.
yeah.
She really sounds just very, very together and
Prioritizing family. I think she talks about how they sit down as a family for dinner every night.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so cute. I mean, I think their home base is in Nashville, mostly.
Right.
But
she's married to Keith Urban,
who's also an
country,
Aussie. Yeah.
He's an Aussie, but he's a country singer.
Yeah.
So yes.
So maybe between the two of them, they've got EGOT status just about. She just needs a Tony.
Yeah.
And they'll be there.
Yeah. I know. Maybe he could help her out there. Yeah. And he's a little easy on the eyes too.
They just seem like a very loving,
They
cute
do.
couple. So, and they've been together a long time now.
They have.
So
17 years is what I read. And actually it's very gratifying because she has had some ups and downs in her personal life as well as her professional life. And one of those was her marriage to Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And it really seemed, and I'll never forget, because they were like the Hollywood it couple for like a decade. Were they married a decade?
I don't know.
Maybe not quite
I don't know if
that
they were
long.
married a decade or not, but they definitely were the it couple.
They were definitely the it couple. And it seemed like it came out of left field, that the divorce. And I do know that she really, and she's very open about it, that she really kind of went down this very deep, dark hole. And it was her work that helped pull her out of it.
Yeah.
And she had her Academy Award winning role in Virginia. I think it was Virginia Woolf. No, did she win it for something else? What did she win her Academy Award?
I think it was.
I want to say Virginia Woolf in that movie, which was, she started filming that shortly after her divorce with Tom. But having a very public divorce like that, and then, continuing on with your career, it has to be a little bit challenging. But it seems like she really handled that very, very well at the time. And yes, and now I'm very happy that it seems like she is in a very happy marriage. And
yeah.
Well, I have to imagine that coming out of that relationship with Tom Cruise must have been a very weird, because that whole Scientology thing. And then we got more of a story when he was married to Katie Holmes. So
well, and the kids situation.
That's
right.
They adopted the two kids.
That's right. Yeah. And
she couldn't see him after that
because Tom has custody of them, and she's never been able to see them since their divorce.
Crazy.
I know, isn't that crazy? Which is then his divorce with Katie Holmes. So she was smart about the situation, maybe observing what Nicole had to go through, and so she took Suri with her. And then Tom hasn't seen the child, but that's
really?
Yes, Scientology is a very, very interesting religion.
Yeah, talk about it seems like it just from like the documentaries I've read and all the news, from Leah Remini and all these actors and stuff that are a part of this religion? Question mark?
I know, right? Yeah.
It just seems like
yeah, we both said
it
cults.
does seem like it exists in like some other like universe. I don't know. It just seems so bizarre to me.
I know.
But anyway,
I know.
so just to kind of circle back, she did win for Virginia Woolf in the Hours.
That's what I thought.
She was Oscar nominated for her role as Satine in Moulin Rouge, and as a grieving mother in the drama Rabbit Hole. She was also nominated for her role in the drama Lion, and for playing Lucille Ball in Being the Ricardos, which is kind of a weird Oscar nomination. I think that seems weird.
It was an odd show, but she did a good job with it. Actually,
she did. She did. So I think one of the things that I really love about Nicole Kidman is that a lot of actors who I think we can think of as iconic in the modern era, they kind of tend to just play themselves a lot, which for some people, like say Tom Cruise,
Julia Roberts,
like that
would be you.
Kind of okay. Tom Hanks kind of falls into this also.
I don't know. I think Tom's had enough.
I feel like she kind of plays herself, and I mean, The Perfect Couple. I feel like that is literally.
You think that's Nicole?
I don't know if that's her, but I just saw a TikTok where basically someone was joking and they said like her agent called her up and was like, oh, Nicole, we have a role for you. And she was like, oh, well, where is it filmed at? And he was like, well, it's filmed, um, where is it? Like
Nantucket.
in Nantucket. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, does it require is the role like this rich woman that has an indescribable accent? And he's like, well, yes, it does. And it's like, well, is she married to a handsome man? Well, yes, she is. So maybe not herself, but I feel like some of her characters are very similar
Well,
sometimes.
but if you look back through her filmography, like she's been in so many movies where she, I think,
Yes.
has just become the character
Yeah,
to
she
the
really
extent that
does.
Yeah.
you can forget that you're seeing
That's
Nicole
right.
Kidman.
Yes, that
I
I
will
agree with.
say though that, and you bring up The Perfect Couple, I will say though that with her roles, maybe since Big Little Lies on to now, which was in 2019,
Are similar in that
yeah, I mean,
sense.
there's been
Yeah.
a few where she truly is like not recognizable as like Nicole Kidman the star so much.
Mhm.
But I think it's getting harder and harder. And I think part of this is because honestly, like I don't want this to sound bad, but it's her face.
Mhm.
I feel like the amount of work that she's
Yeah.
had done on her face has given her a face that is very distracting. And I think when you have a distracting face and you're a recognizable star, I think it takes you out of the movie or the TV show to the
Yeah.
extent that like I watched The Perfect Couple and I was completely distracted by her face.
Mhm.
I watched that show, The Lioness,
Mhm.
and I was completely distracted in every scene that she was in because
Mhm.
of her face.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. It was really in Lioness, she wears her hair back. She's a CIA.
Uh-huh.
She works for the CIA and she wears her hair back a lot. And you
Mhm.
just see her jawline, which looks very different than it ever used to. I'm
Mhm.
not sure what goes on there,
Mhm.
but I was really distracted by her. Just,
Mhm.
she did a great job in the role in terms of like her line delivery and,
Mhm.
but her face, like it wasn't as emotive as we've seen her in maybe other roles.
Mhm.
She kind of had a frozen face, and I don't know if that's coming from Botox or if that was a choice
Mhm.
on her part to just be
Yeah.
playing this character with so much stoicism that they have no emotion,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which could be. I mean, it was a CIA role, so
Mhm.
maybe.
Mhm.
But truly and honestly, I was very distracted by her
Mhm.
face, just the physical look of her face in that show.
Mhm.
I don't
Your
want
face
that.
has completely offended Kelly.
I'm so sorry, Nicole. I love so many movies that she's in.
We love you, Nicole.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm
Just cut back on the
Plastic surgery.
Botox or whatever.
I don't
I know.
understand.
Do you think
That
it's just
is-
her aging as well? Like, I mean, I feel like in your
No.
face, because I'm looking at some of the pictures of her from her like earlier works, and
Uh-huh.
it seemed like she has like more plump cheeks. Like, you know
Mhm.
how when someone gets older, I feel like your face starts to
Mhm.
like hollow out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe
that's
it's like a combination of both.
and that's
Yeah.
why that's why aging stars, tend to inject fillers.
She's
and
getting filler.
yes,
Like,
because it plumps you
yeah.
out. But then it can also. I think what happens, and maybe that's what's distracting. I'm not sure, but it also smooths your face out so much, and you
Yeah.
also know that a 57-year-old is not going to have that
Plastic smooth
smooth
skin.
of a face.
I mean, I
you can
think,
have beautiful, plump, hydrated skin. I mean,
I mean, I still
it's
think
like
she
it's
looks
like an
good.
ad, but
I don't think she looks.
I think, I mean, I'm with Kelly. It's not like distracting to me, but
Yeah.
it's very obvious. And
That's
I'm like,
interesting.
you're such a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I wish you would lean more in towards
Just aging.
just
Yeah.
aging, like Kate Winslet, who's probably about the same age, I'm guessing.
Well,
Almost
anyways,
Kate,
yeah. anyways,
I think-
Nicole, you're still amazing. We still love you.
yeah,
but-
no, I mean, despite a new face, I think that she is a Hollywood icon,
Mhm.
and I think that she's so impressive, not only for the amount of work that she's done, the content of the work that she's done. There's some
know.
stinkers in there, but for the most part, she's just had an amazing career. And I
Mhm.
feel like the woman is a powerhouse. Like she is coming out with
Mhm.
so
She
much new
is.
stuff. And the
Now
other
she's
thing that
producing. Is she
Yeah.
directing as well? I
Mhm.
know
I think
she's producing.
directing. I know she produces a lot.
Mhm.
But I think the other thing that that is really amazing about her, especially in 2024, is that she's, I feel like, very risky. She's willing to take risks, right?
Mhm.
And I'm speaking more specifically in 2024 now, and this is the movie that was premiering that she left from the Venice Film Festival for. She's promoting a new movie called Baby Girl.
What's that about?
It's an erotic drama
Oh,
that, and by erotic drama, I mean it's like I think the sex in the movie is pretty
graphic.
graphic, and there's a lot of it.
Okay.
And I even heard on NPR today it described as kinky.
Is
It's not
it-
something you normally hear on NPR, but
Okay, release date in at Christmas, December 25th.
yeah,
this year.
So it's at the Toronto Film Festival this weekend. It was at Cannes and at Venice Film. So it's making its rounds right now at all the festivals. But
Okay.
but yeah, and you know, in this moment of time where there are intimacy coaches on sets and everybody is very, I think there's this whole pullback from even having sex scenes in shows and movies anymore. It's a really bold choice, and I'm kind of curious, like why, you know, what made her want to go with this now in this moment in time. It's kind of interesting because, you know, she did when she was in whatchamacallit with,
She's married with Tom Cruise. They did Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut, right? And we saw her boobs. I remember in the theater when I saw that movie.
She's like
and she was
older. Or?
No, I mean, I just think the woman makes very brave choices. And I think she's not afraid to go in a dark or a different direction when she's compelled by the script or the writing or the people that are also working on it with her. Like, I think she has a lot of, you know, she puts her trust in good filmmakers and stuff, and just she takes risks.
Oh, well, I'm curious about this Baby Girl now, and it reminds me of what was that movie that Emma Stone just starred in? I did not like it at all.
I will go on record saying I really liked that movie.
I did not like it at all. And
which one was this?
I can't remember what was the name of that movie.
Pretty Things or Poor Things.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
It won the Oscar.
Yeah, no, I was gonna watch it, but then Andrew said I might not like it, so then I didn't.
Well, it also has a lot of sex scenes in it.
It does have a lot of sex. It's a comedy, which nobody gets.
Oh,
It's a very funny movie. And it does have a lot of sex in it.
What does how you couldn't get around Nicole's face? I couldn't get around like all the sex scenes.
Yeah.
It was just like in your face.
Yeah.
It was
you really liked It Ends With Us, and that was pretty graphic.
But not the movie wasn't.
Not the movie, but the book.
Yeah, the book, but we're talking about movies.
Oh.
We're talking about movies.
Specific movies.
Yes. So specific. I mean, romance novels, you're kind of set up for that, and It Ends With Us is, I mean, honestly, it really is a romance novel. And so yes, or at least me, this is me. It's one thing to read it and it's one thing to watch it.
To see it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And
okay.
yes.
That's fair.
And especially with that movie, it was just yes, it was I thought it was, well, I'm not the only one. My friend Rebecca didn't like it either.
That's
so
true. Of
anyway,
the trio of us, I would say that I was the only one that
we digress because we are talking about Nicole Kidman today. But I am curious about that movie because it could be along the lines of that.
It might be. The synopsis of it basically is Nicole Kidman plays a high-powered CEO, and she puts her career and family on the line when she begins a torrid affair with her much younger intern. Her husband is played by Antonio Banderas.
There seems to be a theme of movies coming out because even A Family Affair, that's the one that just came out on Netflix with her and Zac Efron. And what's the other?
Yeah, because she's an older.
Because she's Joey King plays her daughter in it. But yeah, the older woman, younger man. It's the same thing with Anne Hathaway. Netflix just premiered that one where she's the older woman, younger man. It's a very common thing.
Well, our actresses are aging, so in the old days they used to be kind of put on the shelf, but now they're not.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that Nicole Kidman is at the forefront of, because all of the actresses in her generation are at the age where in the old days they would just be put out to pasture and not getting any more roles and retiring from acting or going to the stage or something like that, right? But she and her cohorts who have got their own production companies and can pick and choose what they want to do and what they want to put their money and their talent behind.
Mhm.
They're actually doing it, and it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I love
Yeah.
that because Reese
Yeah.
Witherspoon, she's pretty good friends with
Mhm.
Reese. I understand, and Reese has done a lot of
Yeah.
great
Mhm.
movies and limited series as well.
Yeah.
So, and my understanding is that Nicole is producing The Lioness, which is the limited series with Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah,
which
it's.
is
I don't
pretty
think it's a
cool.
limited series.
Oh, it's not?
No, because it's been renewed for a second season,
Oh,
so
okay.
it starts.
So it's a series.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
series.
It's a series.
Yeah, she's producing that, and the other producer of that is another one of the female co-stars. So Zoe Saldana. So I mean, there is a wave of female actresses who are in their late 40s, early 50s, and late 50s that are really making a. Sorry, we're all distracted by the barking. Um,
But someone's not distracted
AJ.
at all. You go yell at Oscar. I know. Christian, cut this out. Yell at him. Close the blinds.
Okay.
Okay, where are we going to pick it up from?
I will pick it up with I think it's a really great time. I think the film industry is suffering a lot for a lot of different reasons, but I do think that we can come to this moment now and look at all of the older female actresses who are kind of taking control of their later careers and actually producing and starring and doing work that they believe in, and that is, continuing on with their career, which I think is really great.
I love that. So, what would be your favorite role that you've seen Nicole Kidman in, or your favorite movie? Role, movie.
That's a tough.
It is,
one.
because she is a very prolific actress.
My favorite is Practical Magic, by hands down.
Yeah,
I love that movie. But I don't know if that necessarily just has to do with Nicole, or I just love that movie overall. But she's
one of the
great in
main
it.
character.
Yeah. I mean, other than Practical Magic, I mean, I feel like there's so many that I don't know if I can narrow it down.
I think I can narrow mine down to Cold Mountain. I really liked that movie, and I really loved her in it. I think she
was really good in that.
She's another one of those actresses that I think one of her wheelhouses is period pieces. I think she's just so phenomenal in historical dramas. So good. So I really enjoyed her in that movie, and but also I did enjoy Moulin Rouge. That's such a fun movie, and she's great in it. And then also Dead Calm, her first international hit.
She was
great in that.
Just like 21 or 22 when that
she was super young.
Came out, and she handled that movie beautifully. She did, and that was not an easy movie, I'm sure, to film, because they were out on the sea. I'm sure they had some backlot shooting as well, but there were a lot of, you knew that they were on the sea, and that was a psychological thriller. So she did a great job on that. I also liked her in The Others. I believe that's
The
what it's
Others.
called.
Oh yeah, that movie creeped me out.
Yeah,
that was
is
I'm not
my favorite ghost story movies.
I'm not really a horror movie goer, but I did like that.
I liked that movie.
She did a really good job.
I totally forgot she was the Stepford Wives.
Yeah.
Which I thought I mean, that movie kind of creeped me out, to be honest. It was,
Well, yeah.
It was very creepy. She's got some really strange picks in here. Like
I think it's safe to say she has never been typecast.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Bewitched.
Well, I actually have to say, because that was one of Nora Ephron's last movies. I think it could have been her last movie, and I absolutely adored Nora Ephron. She just brought romantic comedies to life, and Nicole was so cute in that role. She really, I mean, the whole, it's just a feel good movie, and
it is. It's a good airplane.
It really
movie.
is.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell was cute in it. I don't know. It was just one of those very sweet movies that
I've liked like all of her series that she's been in too, though.
She has really made the jump to TV in the most like best way possible. She's
like
so
9
good.
Perfect Strangers. I really enjoyed. I mean, I obviously enjoyed The Perfect Couple that just came out, and then Big Little Lies.
that That was very
I
good,
liked
which was an
that as well.
ensemble cast. But
Yeah.
It was a phenomenal show.
that was a great. And I'm glad they brought season 2 out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was very good. What was the limited series with Hugh Grant? That was also that was a
Oh.
that was a bit of a thriller.
Yeah, we just talked about this.
Mhm.
Oh, The Undoing.
Is it
The Undoing.
The Undoing?
That was good too.
That was
Yeah.
she did an excellent job in that.
She really has not been afraid to go the TV route like so many. You know, I think we'll see more and more iconic Hollywood stars do this, but she's really done it super well. And I feel like she's one of the first ones to really
To navigate
jump
over
out there and do it.
She
Yeah.
is
which
kind
is
of one of the
great.
first ones that
Yeah.
I feel like most big name stars haven't done that yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think she's got a really crazy and fantastic career playing such a variety of roles, a lot of which are you know, women who have experienced some kind of trauma and have this underlying sadness, which I think she plays really well.
I think she's very much a method actor because I really think she immerses herself in the role
Mhm.
and really transforms.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
agree.
think about. I feel like why she's not always like I don't always just register her as Nicole Kidman in any role. You know, whereas like I was saying earlier, like with Tom Hanks, like I mean, I love Tom Hanks and I love so many of his movies, but he got to a certain point in his career where I feel like he's basically it's Tom Hanks in, you know. Do you know what I mean? Like it's Tom Hanks as, and you can't lose the fact that he's Tom Hanks, you know. But
I kind of agree with that. But I still think Tom is a good enough actor, like with Mr.
that he can get
Rogers.
past it. Yeah. I mean, Castaway was amazing, obviously.
When he was in Mr. Rogers, I mean, he was really Mr. Rogers. I didn't really see Tom Hanks at all in that role. And that was a really sweet movie. And oh, yes, when he played Castaway, oh my gosh, that was about 20 years ago.
Well, I feel like it's interesting that she wouldn't be, you know, as far as like cast in specific roles or whatnot, but her accent you think would limit her.
Yeah, she
on
does
certain
American
things.
accent really well.
But I'm trying to actually think when I like, did she use an American accent in The Perfect Couple?
No,
she
was,
had
it was a British accent.
yes,
Yeah, it
she's
was.
British.
Okay.
Yeah, but so she
I
wasn't
was like,
Aussie, she was a Brit.
I'm trying
in
to
that
think
one.
was
when's
from
the
England.
last movie or show that she used an American accent though.
All of
in
them,
Pretty
basically. Like
Really?
she almost
Big Lies, or what was that one?
she
'Cause I
almost
feel like
never
she always has like some twinge of a
I mean, you might just be hearing a little bit of her native accent come out in certain like pronunciations or
That might be it.
inflections.
Yeah.
But like I feel like the majority of her career is all American.
I think she does a really good job.
It's in fact when in seeing her with a British accent in The Perfect Couple, I was like, oh, thank goodness she gets to actually play a role where she has something similar to her normal, you know, way of speaking. But even that, so the guy that plays her brother in The Perfect Couple, I think he's an Irish. I can't be 100% sure, but he was in Sons of Anarchy and he had an Irish accent. So I don't know if he's Irish. I think he was affecting a British accent just like
He was like a very thick.
Yeah, because he normally has a Scottish or
It
Irish
wasn't the
accent.
upper class British accent. It was, that.
It's always and the girl in the
accent.
the daughter-in-law, the bride is also Irish. So she was affecting an American accent. So everybody was doing an accent that wasn't their own.
Because they're in Nantucket.
Yeah. But and that's I feel like another impressive thing to me about her is that all of these, all of these movies that she's been in, unless she's playing a character specifically with an accent, she's almost always doing American accent.
I would say that the majority of her roles are, especially because well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think Dead Calm, she's playing an American, isn't she?
I think so.
I think so. Even though it's an Australian film, but I do think that
is pretty amazing.
She's playing
she changes it up.
I've always been very impressed with actors that can do that, and not all can do that. They really can't, but she's done a very good job with that, and I think that's probably one of her strengths is that she can.
She can. Yeah.
Switch
she
in
does
and
it really
out.
well.
So
what's your favorite Nicole Kidman movie? I don't think you said.
well, I do like Bewitched. That's mean, that just because, as I said, that Nora Ephron directed it, it's just such a feel good, sweet movie, and she does a really cute job in it. Um, and I did talk about the others because I don't know if that's my favorite movie, but she did such a good job in that
Mhm.
that um, especially for a genre that I'm not drawn to,
Yeah.
it made it much more palatable.
Yeah.
And so,
Mhm.
and that was because of Nicole. So to me, that's a really great actress
Yeah.
to do that.
Oh, for
Mhm.
sure. I mean, I don't think I would have watched that movie if she wasn't in
I
it.
know, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was actually maybe
I
a
think
little
that
bit
takes a very
surprised that it was a scary movie. Like, I don't
Mhm,
think I knew anything about it, and I saw,
mhm,
like the cover of
mhm,
her. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting, and maybe a
mhm.
little bit. I
Mhm.
didn't know it was going to be as scary as it was. I was,
That
I know.
movie
it was
Yeah.
freaked
scary.
me out.
Yeah, but it was. Alex brought this up the other day. It came out at a time like where the twists of
Movie.
it was because Sixth
Sixth
Sense.
Sense,
So it was
yes.
kind of,
Mhm.
how Hollywood works
Oh,
in
yeah.
these cycles of like,
2001.
movies with twists or
Mhm,
a certain type of movie, and there'll be like 3 of them or something that are all a
mhm,
little bit different, but kind of the same
Mhm.
premise.
mhm.
But I remember being very surprised by the end of the
Yes,
others.
yes. No, that was so I can't say that it's a favorite movie, but I will say she had a great turn in that and made me like that or react to that movie more favorably than I
Mhm.
otherwise would have. But I do one thing I do love about Nicole off screen, I'm completely
Mhm.
hijacking the conversation here, but I love her style.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
She always just looks
Mhm.
amazing when
Very
she's on the
classy.
when she's on the red carpet. She just
Mhm.
always has the
Yeah,
right
she
dress. I
does.
mean, she has the most amazing figure in the
Yeah.
entire world. She's tall and she's lean and long legs, and she looks good in everything. You can put her in pants, you can put her in a dress, but I always love to see
Mhm.
what she's wearing,
Yeah.
and it's always very tasteful. Sometimes it's a little bit daring,
Mhm.
but always the right choice,
Yeah.
always the right pick,
I also loved
and very iconic.
her costuming for The Perfect Couple.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
felt like her costuming was really,
Yeah.
really nice
Mhm.
for that show. Same with Big Little Lies too.
Mhm.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
that's when you need a good costume designer to really bring that character to
yeah,
life.
for sure.
Mhm.
And she just wears clothes really like
Mhm.
effortlessly.
Mhm.
So you know,
And I did hear so this was interesting, because she's very good friends with Naomi Watts, who's
Mhm.
another Aussie
Mhm.
actress, and so in the Perfect Couple. So Liev Schreiber is the lead.
Mhm.
And she
Mhm.
actually checked with because Liev was married to Naomi. They're divorced now. I'm not sure how long they've been divorced, but anyway. So Nicole goes and asks Naomi first thing, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this role with your ex. What do you think?" And Naomi's like, "Go ahead." It's
That's
like
so
really fun.
funny.
I thought that was just, I just thought that
Yeah.
was just something
Yeah.
very telling about her character that she would
Yeah.
immediately go to,
Yeah.
to her best friend. And I guess they are pretty very close friends and they have been for a long, long time. So I also like that about her,
Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean,
about her character.
it's a funny thing to think about, like the inner workings of like what actually happens between two actors who have to be intimate on
Mhm.
screen, right?
Yeah.
Like we all know, I mean, Jolie and Pitt are an example of when that actually comes to fruition.
Yes.
But I think we all know that there's a little bit of, when people have to get intimate together, they have to
Yeah.
like really trust each other and they can develop a connection, whether it leads to a romantic affair or not. But just imagine how jarring and weird it would be to watch a show or a movie and see your
Your
ex-husband
best
with your
friend.
best
That's
friend,
weird.
like as an
I
actor.
know.
Like, it's such
I
a
know.
funny,
Yeah.
I know.
it's such a funny thing that actors and actresses
Yeah.
get to kind of
Yeah.
For sure.
play around in. It's a weird world.
Well, it is. And I also wonder what their spouses always think,
Yeah.
right?
I know it's got to be weird, I would
Uh-huh.
think.
Or
That's
your
so funny.
children.
Yeah, or your kids like
Uh-huh.
seeing you with someone else. Like I
Uh-huh.
guess at a certain point you either
They just
decide that
yeah.
you don't let them watch certain things or you do,
Right.
when they're
Yeah.
a certain age and
Yeah.
they can understand and process
Yeah.
like what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say I think one of the other really amazing things about Nicole Kidman too is that she's done a lot of she's portrayed a lot of living or real people in
Mhm.
movies. She's done a number of like whether or not they're
Biographies and-
biopics per
Mhm.
se. She's done that a lot, and
Mhm.
I'm kind of surprised when I go back through her filmography. Like
Mhm.
she did the Virginia Woolf. We
Mhm.
talked about that a little bit earlier. but she was in that. I think she played Princess,
Princess Grace.
yeah, because it was the Monaco, the Queen of
Mhm.
Monaco or something.
Mm-hmm.
But she's done quite a few, and it's kind of amazing actually that she, another I think daring choice because
Mhm.
I mean Lucy Ricardo, like when you play someone else who's famous and you're a famous person,
Yeah.
being able to like pull that off without taking everybody out of the movie,
Exactly.
For
is
sure.
pretty amazing.
Yes. And I will point to that movie. We briefly touched on it earlier, but it wasn't the best movie that that I've ever watched, but I particularly liked her portrayal of Lucy, which
Mhm.
was I
the
was really
Ricardos, yeah.
the Ricardos. I was really, I guess, maybe surprised in a way that she pulled off, because I don't
Mhm.
think Lucy Ricardo. I mean, she's not Lucy Ricardo in real life, but
Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball. Thank you. In real life, but they were, it was Ricky and Lucy, on the TV show, and so they're basically it's like a week in her life, a very pivotal week in Lucille Ball's life. But anyway, she nailed it. Nicole really nailed that role, and I was
Yeah.
very surprised that she did. And as I said, I don't know why, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, they were two interesting choices for Lucy and Ricky.
I know.
That's for
Javier
sure.
Bardem,
Bardem, yeah.
was, but I mean, I can kind of see that, I guess, because at least he comes with an accent.
He does, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think Nicole Kidman's physical visage is more believable as a Lucy Ricardo, whereas Javier Bardem has a very different face than, in my opinion,
Than Desi did.
than Desi did. So it just didn't match up for me. I feel like they could have
Mhm.
made a different
Yeah.
choice. As much as I love Javier Bardem,
Yeah.
which I do.
Yeah.
So I think I tried to do a lot of as much research as I possibly could watching her movies, but her list of movies is so long that it would
know.
take me like a year to
Mhm.
get through all of these movies.
How many
It's
would you say
amazing.
are there?
I don't know. I can't even.
It's over 100.
I mean, this IMDb page is like I'm scrolling
know.
like 5 times. It's
know.
incredible, and
Well-
the range of stuff is just so out there. Like it's just talk about not being typecast. I mean, the woman
Uh-huh.
and I get the sense that she just really, picks what she likes and has a good time doing it. And I
Mhm.
think that's really great.
So, what do you think are some of Nicole's strengths as an actress? Would you say? I mean, we already talked about it briefly. Her ability to change accents.
Mm-hmm.
She has a perfect American accent, that's for sure.
I mean, I guess to be able to change characters too, just, all of these movies are to be able to go from a, horror movie or a scary movie to
Right. Yeah, you're going to Virginia
to
Wolf,
Stepford Wives to
yes, Stepford
being the
Wives,
Ricardos,
Little Lies.
Like she,
you know,
comedies
to
and
being rom-com. Like she just did
Yes.
that
Yeah,
rom-com with
She
Zac
does.
Efron.
And I do remember Nora Ephron commenting that Nicole really does have a beautiful comedic
yeah, yeah.
timing, and just that light touch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was very evident in Bewitched. She really was able to pull that off. So
I
For
kinda wish
sure.
she would do a few more comedies. 'Cause I do think she's got some comedy chops that we don't get to see as often as her more dramatic
right? I know.
roles.
I
Yeah.
think sometimes comedies are harder to act in than any other movie.
I would think
I
so.
really do.
I'd love to see her in like a really, really good rom-com.
Mhm.
I feel like The Family Affair, it was okay for me. I didn't really
I'll have to watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it was just okay. I
Yeah.
mean,
I didn't like I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it.
yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was a complete waste of time, but I mean, it didn't really have a plot.
Yeah.
I think if
The one with Anne Hathaway, I thought they did a much better. Like I
Did they?
actually enjoyed that one.
yeah.
But yeah, this one I was like, so I'd like to see her in something maybe similar to this, but
Yeah.
a little bit better storyline.
Yeah, more fun rom-com.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I will go back to Cold Mountain because you had brought
Yeah.
that up, because that was a book adaptation, and actually it's one of my favorite books. And you never know when you love a book if they're going to
Yeah.
be able to bring that to the screen in the
Mhm.
same way. And I just remember watching that movie, and Renee Zellweger did an amazing job
She's
too.
so great.
Oh, I loved her role too.
She was amazing.
But those two together truly just brought that book to life. And I was just like, they absolutely nailed it.
Oh,
And they
good.
nailed their characters,
Yeah.
and you really saw the whole progression of
Mhm.
their character, because there really is a pretty big progression
Mhm.
for both of them.
There's a lot of time there.
Mhm. Mhm. But yes, but Cold
Story.
Mountain, and she was fairly young. I think she was divorced from Tom by this time.
Yeah.
So I think she was in, because I
It
do
was
know
like 21 years ago.
she 21 years ago. Yeah. She was divorced from Tom. Because I do know she threw herself into her work and really got through that divorce with that. But yes, and Cold Mountain was one of those.
Mhm.
So she was excellent in that. I mean, there's some movies. I mean, now that we have taken a look at Nicole, there are actually many movies that I haven't seen of hers.
Oh, there's time. I mean,
Yeah, there's a
That
lot.
I don't think I've seen most of them, to
that
be honest with you.
I
There's
need to
so
go
many.
back and check out. I
Mhm.
do.
I feel like I've seen like almost all of her series works, but
Yes, because she's with the Prestige TV in the past few years.
Mhm.
I think I have seen all of those. I haven't seen the Lioness.
I
So
haven't seen that yet.
I will go back and put that on my list, because you gave it a thumbs up. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it, especially if you're a fan of Taylor Sheridan, which I know you are, I think it's worth at least watching a little bit of this show just to kind of get a feel for him writing in a completely different genre.
Mhm.
You know, it's not as soap opera as Yellowstone. It's not, you know,
Right.
it's just very different than what we've seen him do.
That's cool.
I know he has a number of other shows that aren't set in the like neo westerns. Like he's got that Mayor of Kingstown or whatever,
Right.
and then that Tulsa Kings. So he does
Right.
have other stuff out there. I just haven't seen those. So going from like knowing him as a Yellowstone to this, it was a very interesting jump. So
Well, I'm going through one of our foundation pieces, which are 12 of her best movies. So I'm just scrolling through that, and I'd forgotten
fun
this
list,
one.
yeah.
It is a fun list. I'd forgotten this completely. So My Life, which came out in 1993 and also stars Michael Keaton, who I love.
Yeah.
I love him. He's not in nearly enough movies. He really isn't, but she really has a. I'm actually going to put that on my list to watch this
Rewatch?
winter. It's rewatchable because it's been long. I mean, 1993. That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can refresh my memory, but I do remember liking that. That was a very poignant, very sweet movie. But I haven't seen Dogville. Have you seen that?
Yeah, you're
Haven't
not
seen
gonna
that.
like that.
Oh, I won't like that. Okay, so skip that. Okay, skip that.
That's I talked about this a little bit with you yesterday. It's a Lars von Trier movie, which is just painful in and of itself because he's a painful director. But this is basically it's filmed on a stage. The set is a stage, so it almost seems like a play.
Paul Bettany's in it though. I love him.
I know. I mean, give it a shot if you want, but I promise you, you're
Okay,
gonna
I'm not
come
gonna
away
like
with
it.
a
Okay.
feeling like your heart was ripped out
Okay.
through your stomach.
Okay, then I'll skip.
Lord.
And I think that's actually part, I will say that this is another thing about her that I like is like when I was saying that she's very brave and does difficult, you know, things or whatever. She has a lot of her movies I haven't seen because I know that they are emotionally incredibly painful and difficult. And that has actually kept me from committing to like watching some of her movies. And it's not because of her. It's just the content of the movie is just a gut wrenching experience.
Okay.
So that has kept me from watching. I know at least a few of her movies I have not watched because I know that they're just like,
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of this one? It's actually, I'm going to put this on my list. It's called To Die For.
haven't seen that
In
one.
1995, and supposedly this is what catapulted her career.
It looks like a comedy. I think it's a comedy, right?
It says her portrayal of Suzanne Stone, and it says it didn't just elevate her career, it skyrocketed her to superstardom. So she's utterly fearless, playing the role of an ambitious TV weathercaster. I guess we can't say weatherman or weatherwoman anymore. Weathercaster with dangerously lofty aspirations. So yeah, so it's dark humor.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think
to check out.
I think I might have to put that on my list. Then Moulin Rouge, which we briefly touched on.
That's always fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, I mean, actually, I have not seen a great many of her movies.
Yeah.
Because there are so many of them.
There really are. Yeah. It's totally true. And I think now that the internet is such a thing and there's so many places that you can source material. I do think you can probably find some of her very early stuff from when she was acting in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which would
did
be
she
fun
start out in
to.
TV?
Yeah, I think she was.
I think she did.
I think it was all television series
Mm-hmm.
that she was on. I'm not sure that they were soap operas necessarily, but
Well, I think we
Yeah.
can all agree that she's a great actress
I think so. So
in all of the things that she's been in.
I think so.
So I think Nicole Kidman, Hollywood icon.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna crown you a
Exactly.
Hollywood legend, Nicole. Not that you need our permission, but
Well, maybe if she sees our podcast.
that's right. Okay, ladies. Well, I think we're as Chelsea said, we're all in agreement. I think she is a Hollywood legend, and
Mhm.
she's only 57, so she still has quite a bit of
Yeah.
life ahead of her, and a
Mhm.
lot of work, like Helen Mirren. I mean,
Yeah.
she's
For
still
sure.
ticking. Like, I mean, she's not missing a beat, that one,
Yeah.
and she has some really great roles too. So, all right. Well, that wraps up this segment, and we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with New and Noteworthy. And we're back with my favorite segment where Chelsea, Kelly, and I share something that's new or noteworthy. And we just, kind of like to just whatever has caught our eye in the past week or so. We just like to share it with each other and then share it with all of you. So, Kelly, I'm going to kick it off. What do you have for us this week?
Okay, so there's a new documentary on HBO called Wiseguy, David Chase and the Sopranos. It's a 2-part documentary, and it deep dives into David Chase and his career and what led him to create and write for and ultimately make The Sopranos.
Oh.
Yeah, for anybody who loves The Sopranos, this is it's a must-watch documentary. It's so good, so insightful. It has really fun things like there's a lot of footage of people auditioning for certain parts. So we get to see a lot of actors who you're like, hey, I know that guy, or hey, I know that gal, and they didn't get the part, but they auditioned for. So that's kind of fun to see. And then it's just just a really fascinating behind the scenes of that whole show and how it came to be.
I always like that because there's always a few twists and turns from getting something, from your head to the pen to the, to the screen.
Right.
And a few roadblocks usually in Hollywood, it sounds like. So, okay.
Yeah.
And I love documentaries, so I'm going to go check
That's a
that
good one.
out.
Yep.
And Chelsea, what do you have this week?
I have a Netflix series. It's called A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And it was actually a book. I think it's a series of books. I've never read the book before, but I found it on Netflix, and it's kind of like a teen drama, I would say. And I mean, obviously, someone gets murdered. But basically, it's about a schoolgirl.
Is it a girl that did it?
Yeah. It's about a schoolgirl that was killed, and they're trying to, figure out how to solve the murder. It got 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's actually, I think it was on BBC at first before Netflix got the rights to it.
Okay.
But I liked it. I think it was a short series. I'm trying to think how many episodes there were, but I want to say that maybe there was like 7 to 10 episodes.
Okay.
And I mean, it all wraps up. So, you watch it, the one series, and that's it.
Okay.
It was good.
All right. Cool. It's on my radar screen. And I have a product this week because I like to bring products. I mean, I test a lot of products out, and I'm a big skincare junkie. And I've partnered with Colleen Rothchild many times. I've actually met her. She's amazing. It's a real person, and her name really is Colleen Rothchild. And she battled breast cancer, and came back swinging. And boy, my hat's off to her. But I do really love this company on so many levels. A, it's run by a woman, and B, great products. And they recently just came out with a new product. It's vitamin C serum. And about 6-7 years ago, when I was first introduced to vitamin C serum, I was like, wow, this is going to stay in my skincare routine from now on. I really did see a big difference with a vitamin C. And so now Colleen has a vitamin C serum out. So I was really excited to try it, and it's good. But I mean, I don't think she has a bad product in any of her skincare lineup. But I mean, honestly, and I'll just share that with both of you. If there's anything that you want to add to your skincare routine, vitamin C, because it really just it brightens and it just is really it gives that hydrated look that I love. So
Nice.
all right, well that wraps up another episode where what?
We're busting a myth, apparently.
That's right. We're busting a myth that mothers-in-law aren't necessarily monsters-in-law. I got it right this time, ladies. We'll see you next podcast.